Hey planner friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be setting up my small passion journal for the month of March. Let's get started. So my theme colour for March is a forest green, and I've decided to go for a Celtic Knots theme for this month. And when I was deciding on this theme, I remembered that one of my favourite fonts to use in kind of like fancy lettering is a basically Lord of the Rings themed font that I found on Pinterest. So I'm starting on my cover page for March, and as you can see I've penciled in all of the lettering before, and I'm just kind of colouring over it rather than actually using proper calligraphy techniques, because I don't know any proper calligraphy techniques at the moment. I'll have the alphabet sheet that I used for this month linked in the description. Continuing on with my cover page, I've drawn in my calendar for the month, so I just use an overview calendar for my bullet journal because I don't actually use this for planning. I've then added in my 3 theme colours for the month in the bottom of the page, and added in some craft paper and tissue paper along the top. I've then added in the first of my Celtic knot designs, and I'm finishing off my cover page by adding some gold highlights with my Sakura Jelly Roll pen. So when I was coming up for the theme of this spread, I was really excited when I thought of using Celtic knots for March because it's green and Celtic knots kind of go together in my head. But I didn't really have the time or the talent to draw all of these Celtic knots out. So I found an artist on Etsy who sells clip art and colouring pages of all kinds of Celtic designs, and bought a couple of their colouring pages, and I've coloured them in and stuck them into my journal for this month. I've pre-coloured all of them in before I actually stick them in my planner, just in case I made any mistakes, except the one that I'm going to put on my quote page in a second, so I'll show you how I've coloured them in as we get to that. For now I'm just finishing lettering in my quote for the month, which is "No matter how long the winter, spring is sure to follow." And for this I've just used a Crayola Super Tip and my Tombow Food and Escape brush pen, which I am still getting used to. So back to the Celtic knot designs, I've printed these all out on sticker paper, and then I'm just colouring them in with my Crayola Super Tips. So I'm starting off with this lighter green, and then on every section where the knot kind of overlaps each other, I'm adding in a shadow using a darker coloured pen. For the bigger knots, I've dotted on the shadow so I can kind of blend the colours together a little bit, but for the skinnier ones I've just ended up doing a little line on the overlap. To make this one look a little bit special compared to all of the others, I've gone in and drawn a gold line down the centre of each knot using my Sakura Jelly Roll pen. I'm then finishing off my quote page with a little bit of washi tape, so this first one is just one from Paper Chase, and then the second piece is from the nature sticker book that you can see in the top left hand corner. So moving on to my sleep and headache trackers pages, I'm again lettering in the titles of both of these pages using that Lord of the Rings style font. I'm then going to draw out my sleep tracker, which is pretty much the same sleep tracker that I've used ever since I started this journal. So I have the hours of the night along the top and the days of the month down the side, and every day I'm going to draw in a block from when I went to sleep to when I woke up, and I colour that block in based on how good my energy levels were for that day. I think my Grey Stabilo fine liner is running out a little bit, so I switched to a different black fine liner for pretty much the rest of this setup. But that Stabilo fine liner has been with me for years at this point, so I'm not surprised it's running a bit low on ink. I use it literally every week. To decorate my sleep tracker, I'm just adding in some stickers from the nature sticker book, and then also some washi tape. Next we can move on to my headache tracker, and this is usually quite a doodly page for me, but this month I've printed out a large Celtic knot piece of clip art, again from the colouring pages that I bought, and I'm going to colour in a segment of this with my headache level for that day, so from none to severe. And I spent way too much time counting all of the little segments in several different pieces of clip art before I found one that had 32 sections. To fill in a bit of space at the bottom of that page, I've just added in some craft paper and some more stickers, and now we can move on to my first weekly spread for the month. For this page I've gone for a horizontal layout, and I also have these long Celtic knot designs that I'm putting on the left and right of each page, and then adding in some craft paper and tissue paper and lettering in the first 3 letters of the word March. The main pens that I'm using for this spread are 2 Crayola Super Tips and 1 Sharpie S-Note, and then I've also got my normal black fine liner, my Tombow Food Nosco pen that I've already mentioned, and also my gold Jelly Roll pen that you can see there on the left. For the daily boxes on this spread, I'm just drawing a little border and then actually remembering to number my weekly spreads for this month. Then finally writing in the days of the month with my Tombow Food Nosco pen, and then we can move on to week number 2. So for this spread, I'm adding in the Celtic knot design that I printed off into the top left hand corner, and then adding in the title of the page onto the bottom right hand corner. I'm then going to use my black fine liner to draw in a box in each section, similarly to one of my spreads from last month. And I've zoomed in here so you can see my fine liner betray me and me smudge an entire line, as well as draw a line that's a little bit too long. But I'm going to fix that using my white Sakura Jelly Roll pen. Okay, so now that super infuriating mistake is out of the way, we can add in some titles for all of these boxes. As you can see, for Saturday and Sunday, I've squished the boxes up a little bit because the header is below them. Okay, so I'm just fixing that little mistake and it's like it never happened, and then I'm just going to add a drop shadow around all of these boxes using one of my Crayola Super Tips. The title section for each box was done using my Sharpie S-Note. The last things to add into this weekly spread are the days of the week and also the dates, because yes, I've remembered to date my entire journal this month, and then finally a little floral sticker from the Nature Sticker Book. Moving on to the third weekly spread of March, and again I'm using craft paper and one of these Celtic knot designs to create my title in the bottom left hand corner. This is another horizontal design, and I'm bringing in some extra stickers from the Passion Planner Nature Sticker Book just to decorate around the outside. One of the reasons that I decided to start adding in some gold highlights around some of the titles was because a lot of the stickers from the Nature Sticker Book also have a little gold highlight in them, and I wanted to keep that pop of shine going throughout all of my spreads. To section off the days for this spread, again I'm going in with one of my Crayola Super Tips to just draw a rough border around the outside of each day, and then I'm going to letter in the day of the week and add in the date as well. Moving on to my final weekly spread for this setup, and this is kind of a week and a half of a spread rather than a single week. So for this week I'm using a Dutch door, and I'm going to cut off half of the centre page and then also cut a little chunk out of it. You'll see why in a minute. So for this spread I have these square Celtic knot designs, and I'm putting them dead centre in the middle of both pages, and so the little chunk cut out of the Dutch door fits around both of these designs perfectly, so you can see them both no matter which way the Dutch door is folded. In the bottom right hand corner of the second page I'm adding in some tissue paper and craft paper again to create my title for this spread, and at this point I think I can do the M, the A and the R of this font blindfolded. To section off the days for this spread, I've got my black fine liner and ruler out again, and I'm drawing borders for each quarter of each page. I'm stopping one dot before I get to the Celtic knot design so that when the Dutch door is folded you can't see the box that's below it. So despite the fact that I printed off all of my Celtic knot designs and coloured them in myself rather than drawing them all out myself, this setup still took me about an hour and 20 minutes, which is quite a while for one of my setups, and that doesn't take into account the time that it took me to actually colour in all of these designs or find them on Etsy. So now that I've added all of those boxes in, I'm going to use my Sharpie S-Note to add in a border for each of them, and at this point I'm discussing with my boyfriend in what order I should be putting in all of the days of the week. Like, do I want it so that when the Dutch door is shut I can see Monday to Sunday, and then when I open it the other 4 days are underneath, or do I just add them all in chronologically? I just ended up adding them all in chronologically, and I think it makes more sense. To finish off this spread I've just added in some drop shadows and all of the days of the week, and that is it for my March setup. So now we can move into a final flip through of my March setup. So we have my cover page and quote page, my sleep and headache trackers, and then 4.5 weeks of weekly pages using these gorgeous Celtic knot clip art designs that I've coloured in myself, a fairly hobbity style font, and also some floral stickers from the Passion Planner Nature Sticker Book. I think this is one of my favourite bullet journal setups that I've done so far, especially this little Dutch door at the back. Let me know in the comments what your theme is for the month of March in your journal. So that's everything for this video, friends. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!